Hello, good evening. Welcome back. We have another amazing author for you tonight. So, what I want you to do is I want you to share this stream so we can talk to Miss Wanda Osborne, also writer named W.P. Osborne, if I'm correct. And so, you want to hear her story. So, make sure you share this out. Comment that you're ready for us. I know we got this interview, but you are going to learn something. You're going to hear an amazing story, and you're just going to hear another indie author tonight. So I want you all to share this with your friends. I want you to start commenting. Just let us know that you can hear us, you can see us, that you're still with us. I know it's 10 o'clock, but listen, this interview you do not want to miss what she has to say because she is amazing. Okay. So I do understand, Miss Osborne, that you are a trainer and you mentor and things like that. But so I would love for you to just share with our audience a little bit more about who you are.
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Wanda. I write as WP, as you mentioned. And prior to me writing a book, I have been an executive for a couple major companies. And during that time, I was a manager, a director, just all the different roles in my final role of VP. And at the time, I mentored many people during that time, and a lot of them had children. And I went through a lot of different things with a lot of different people that worked underneath me with children. And from that point, I started being very interested in what was happening to our youth.
Wow. That's amazing. So I I thank you for telling us about your background and how you just became concerned about what was happening with our youth. So tell us a little bit about your brand or your businesses. Do you consider yourself to be more of a brand, a business, or both?
Um, I guess probably both. I started out when I started. COVID was the reason that I stopped being a VP,
Mhm.
and I thought I was going to take time off. 5 days into taking time off, I decided to write a book, and I started writing this book because in the media, all you saw was children who was losing their parents, and just it was just a lot of sadness. And it seems like the children were being left behind. So I decided that I wanted to write a book. And then I also wanted to help other people publish a book. So I created a company called WAPO or WAPO LLC, which really means worship and praise often. But also, it's a publishing company, and it is how I publish my books myself under that umbrella.
Wow.
So that's how I came up with the company and why I came up with the company.
That is amazing. So you have this amazing company. You even started to publish other books, right? So it seems that this so that if you were publishing books, then books was already a part of your brand. But I would love to know, how has writing books overall helped you with your business overall?
Well, the business really kicked off in 2021. So for the 10 months or 11 months that we've passed by, I've just helped other authors that are trying to write books. I've
Mm.
been mentoring them because that's in my DNA to mentor people. If anybody has any questions about how to write a book, what's the steps to writing a book, what should I do for editors, what should I do for illustrators, what should I do, whatever their questions are, I'm trying to guide them and direct them so they can make a successful book also.
Wow, that's good. Thank you so much, because it's like once you do it, now you can show people that it's capable for them too. And sometimes we need to see that example, especially if you're mentoring, because people come to people for mentorship because it's something on you, right? Like, you talk about the anointing. There's an anointing on you to do something, and they want to learn how you did what you did. So just thank you for sharing it. But now I want to get into the book, because I think you wrote a children's book, and I'm just very interested. So I would love for you to share with us the title of your book, of course, and what your book is about.
Okay, so the title of the book is Away, and it's a children's book of loss. And basically, the book, I'll tell you about the book and I'll tell you why I wrote the book. Um, there's a little girl in this book who has a very good relationship with her father. And one day her father waves to her and walks out the door, and he never comes back.
Mm,
Um, he's lost from her life. And because of how we treat children, sometimes we forget that children have feelings too. So
mhm,
in this case, the mother and the grandmother or the father of the person that passed basically, were in their own sorrow, and they kind of was forgetting about the little girl. So throughout the story, basically, she has a nightmare. Her mom understands that she needs to understand and know what's going on. So they decide to put their feelings aside to help this little girl navigate from losing her father to be a successful young adult, because there's so many people that lose their fathers or their mothers or their sisters or their brothers, especially now. And because they're young, if we don't explain to them what's happening, when they get older, they don't know how to deal with death or grief. And they take on forms that we don't want them to take on. They don't learn how to grieve properly. And for all of us that are in faith and know God, we should be trying to teach these children how to make this a time of memory, a time, for them to say they don't have to go through pain, but they can live through the memory of the person that they lost. And we have to help them when they're small and young. And so this book kind of guides them through that. And I wrote this book because there was so much loss and so much pain since COVID started, and even before that. And kids are kind of locked down and in their own homes, and they can't even share with someone when someone passes away because the funeral homes put limits on when kids could go. So it was just a time that we needed to step back and say, hey, it's not about us, it's about these little children who is our future, and let's make sure they understand what happened to them, how it affected their lives, and give them a path forward.
yeah, I love that. I love that. You just say it's not about us, right? It's about the children as well, because children do grieve. And from what I understand, we do a room on you, oh, not on YouTube, on Clubhouse, where we talk about grief every week. And from what I've learned is that we children experience grief as young as like 2, 3 years old. So imagine someone who's a little bit more aware in the world, it's like 7, 8, 9. And then we are not acknowledging that they're grieving like a death. And maybe because we don't have language, maybe because we need a book like what you wrote to help us to explain it. So I love that you just share like what you just share what inspired you to write a book like this. I think this is amazing because we have to get used to talking about our emotions and our feelings, especially in the Black community. We just have to make it normal that this is what we
Right.
talk about, and make it normal for children to have emotions, because I definitely grew up in the don't talk lesbian talk to culture, and it caused me to be a lot closed off a lot of times. But as I got older, I learned how to speak, so I try not to project that onto my own children. I try to let them express themselves as well and be mindful of what happened to me. So I feel like this book could really help with emotions, could help with any grief that children could be experiencing, right? So there, I
Yeah,
think there
there's
are. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, with what you were saying right there, the other reason, and it just brought to my point again for the book, is a lot of parents are very young and they're children almost themselves. So
Yeah.
they don't know how to deal with grief. And so now they're trying to help a child deal with grief. And just imagine that the child that lost their parent is either a divorced parent or a parent that the mother and father and broke up, and they're kind of estranged from the child's mother or father. They don't really care for them at the time. And then because of that, that kind of portrays onto the child. They feel that. They feel that you don't have love for the person that they love. And we have to learn how to navigate. It doesn't matter if you love that person. You once did. You had a child with that person. Make
Yeah.
sure your child feels love when they lose their loved one.
Wow. That is so good. That is so good. Someone commented, love the focus on helping children through grief. That's so good. So thank you for sharing it. I feel like this is something that'll be good for parents to really help with their children that may be grieving through something. So what I want to know is, this book just seems so robust. It seems like there is a lot of things that we could take away. So what would you say, like when you wrote this book and you let it hit the shelves? We'll talk about where we can find it in just a moment. What were the three things you just wanted people to make sure you honed in on that people walked away with?
I wanted people, first of all, to know that no matter what your role is in this child's life, you have a duty and a responsibility that God, wants all his children to be loved. And you have a responsibility as a parent, a guardian, a grandparent, whoever, to be the guiding light for that child, to help them through whatever struggle they have. So that's the number one thing, to help our children to get through whatever they're struggling. I think the second thing is letting the children have a voice. I mean, I'm not saying let them be mouthy and boss you and tell you what to do, but listen to the children, especially in these times. Let them say what they want to say. Don't hush them and sit them down and tell them, hey, you be quiet. At a grieving point in life, allow the child to express what's on their minds and listen to them and try to work with them. And if you can't find a person in the church or an elder or a counselor or someone that can talk to the child. And
Go ahead.
I think you wanted three. I'm sorry. And really, the last thing is, if you are thinking about how to do this, pretend the person that was lost is your father or your mother. And that should help you really deal with the child.
Wow. That is so good. I love what you said about, if you can't provide the help, find help, right? Find someone who can help you. That goes back to just advocating and knowing that you don't have to have all the answers. That's what I love about this, because you're not shaming people saying, well, you should know how to grieve. You're teaching them because you understand that people don't know how to grieve, right? And so I
Right.
think this is a book that we all should go and get. Now, let's talk about this. Where can we get the book from? I'm going to drop the link that you provided for us, but can you just tell us where we could purchase this book at?
Okay, you can purchase it on Amazon. There is an an audio book. There is a paperback and a hardback, and you can also purchase the book at Barnes and Noble. And then also, I do have it available on my website. If you went onto my website, you could also ask me to send you an autographed copy to your door.
Oh, an autograph copy. So listen, if you want an autograph copy, you got to go to her website. And if you would like, which I'm going to drop in a moment, and you can also get it from Barnes and Nobles, Amazon. I just love this distribution, right? It just speaks to the fact that you are a publisher, so you can find it. So if you have a Barnes and Noble in your neighborhood, or if you got an Amazon, how many, we all got Amazon Prime accounts around here, you can get it shipped. But if you want a signed copy and you want to wait just a bit, you can order straight from her website. So I want you to support her, especially if grief is an area that you know you need help in, especially teaching grief to your children. We have a comment here that I'm going to share. It says, talking about grief and death should be included in all family discussions, in our family discussions. And I have to agree with that statement. So thank you so much, Ivy, because death is one of those things where you never know.
Yeah,
Sometimes it could be planned where you're like, okay, someone is sick, but a lot of times you can't.
yeah,
So we have to be ready to have those kinds of conversations. Definitely a book to pass to those that you know are grieving. Yes, and yes, thank you so much, Tasia 8321. So thank you so much. So now you've told us about your book, you've told us about your business. You have an amazing brand. I love this book on grieving. I think it's a phenomenal book for children. So now where can we go to keep up with you? If we want to follow you, if we want to reach out to you, what ways can we do that?
well, I have, like I said, my website, which is wposbornebooks.com. I also have a Twitter account, an Instagram account, and a Facebook account. All of them are WP Osborne. So I think that I did give you guys you have them all posted there. So yes.
Oh, right. So make sure y'all go follow her. Make sure you go check out her website, check out her Instagram and her Twitter and things like that. This has been amazing. I love this book. I love this topic. I think it's something that I definitely want to get to the children in my family to be able to help them through grieving times. I've had some older siblings, not older siblings, older family members who are but still young. They lost their father recently. My brother actually lost his father a couple years ago, and he's like early 20s, so it's still like unexpected. And although your book is aimed towards children, it could help me help him. So
I've heard that a lot from many
yeah,
people. The book has helped adults
yeah,
outside of just children.
yeah, because sometimes it's I think we heard this earlier from an author, the simplicity of those kinds of books, because they get simple and to the point. So thank you so much. Now I didn't forget you all, so I know you have a giveaway for us. So I
Yeah.
would love to know, what are you going to give away?
I am going to give off an autographed copy of the book away.
I love
And
it.
I am also going to give away the digital versions, so that in case you're somewhere traveling and you don't have this hard copy, you can actually use the ebook and share it.
I love that. So you're gonna give a hard copy and a digital copy. I'm gonna share this comment for you, and it says, "Definitely going to check out her book for my niece and nephews who recently lost their father." See, and the
Uh,
and it's like that was your whole purpose of the book, because
right.
that reminds me of the plot of the book, would have been a father. So thank you so much, Destiny. She says she's gonna buy it, and it's like Chanel's in the comments, like, that's good, y'all. This has been amazing. I love that your children's book is about grief. Like, that's powerful. And just like you said at the beginning, we cannot forget the children when they
Right.
are going through grief.
So
So
I'm going to follow this up with like two more books before the end of the year and one next year. So both of them, the two are about children, and one is about it's just a religious book, but they'll be coming out later this year.
hold on. Did you say, it's November 17th?
Oh yeah, they're already edited, and one is at the illustrator, one is going, and so they'll be out.
Yes. Listen. Listen, I will call you, but Arthur W.P. Osborne is not playing, you all. Make sure y'all follow her. She has two more books coming. So you want to make sure that you are keeping up with what she's doing, because if this first book about teaching children how to grieve is amazing, there are going to be some many more things that come out of her. So she's not a one hit wonder, right? She's not a one time author. She has a publishing company. She's helping other people publish books. So make sure you check her out. Make sure you follow her. Share this video. Even if someone joins now, they can watch it from the beginning, because I know there is somebody somewhere in your life that is dealing with some grief and does not know what to do, because this we have been through a lot in this past 2 years now,
Yes,
almost 2 years with COVID and the unjust. You talked about that. Like, this is what made you say it's time for me to write this book. We've been through a lot, and we can't keep ignoring it and just living life like grief doesn't exist. So if you know that you have grieving children, or that you don't know how to handle grief and you need to help someone, this is the book for you. So I want y'all to go over to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, to her website, and get this book, because I believe it will bless you. It will teach you about grief. And grief is something that all of us at some point in life will experience.
yes, we will.
Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to interview you tonight. This was amazing. And I just cannot wait to see what else you do. And I can't wait to see these books come out. I'll make sure that we follow you over on Instagram and Facebook and all that, so we can see it when they publish. That's just amazing.
Well, thank you for having me, Nikisha. It was great. Thanks.
Okay. Well, you guys, will be back with our last interview for tonight. So go get you a sip of water, something to drink, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. See you shortly.
Bye.
Bye.